really going out with him?
Do you think we'd see that today? At least it's levelled out now and I'm not going uphill. I've had a drink, got my breath back. I think please don't conk out up here, you'll be here for days without getting found. Now mind you, having said that, it looks like plenty of people use it for recreation. And quite right too, it's beautiful. Oh, I spoke too soon back there. It's gone up again, quite steeply, and I'm all out of puff. Good for you, they say. Okay, that's it. At the top, it is all downhill from now on, and I'm not coming back this way tomorrow. Look at that view. Oh, that's magnificent. That's what I've got to do, is find somewhere to spend the night. Are you up for it? I hope you bought a sleeping bag, because I don't think there's going to be any beds or heating. Whew. What's that down there? Oh, we found it. Not too far now. better be open because I'm not walking anywhere else today. I'm done in. A lovely garden. Oh, you're kidding me. Believe this. I think I'm going to need a torch. Oh, smells of tractor fuel in here or something. It was on the couch, but well, at least I'll hear someone coming in. Anyone home? Hello? Oh, I'm really done in, I tell you. Oh, I'm not going anywhere else. There's so much history to this place. It's so old. Right. 1979. I was panicking out there for a minute thinking, what am I going to do? Where am I going to spend the night? It was a lot harder walking the way I came than I thought it would be, but I wanted to have a look at some other places, and I didn't just want to walk along the road. Oh, please let there be a jacuzzi and a king size bed. Get out, pigeons, you're not spending the night in here. Out! Oh, sweet. Oh my God, that looks awful. Oh, well, I wouldn't go anywhere near putting myself on that. Nice pink paint. This must have been the ladies' room. Yeah, flowery wallpaper. It's a beautiful little cottage. It's nice to have some history to it as well. These receipts, they've even got the same family name on as what has been here since 1882, I believe. They moved here from another farm. It's interesting looking at the family tree. I'll tell you about it when I've had a rest. Got some metal beds. I might put one of them down, see what it's like. No fresh linen. At least the windows have got glass in. If the wind gets up, I've got some shelter. I don't watch much telly, just as well really. Oh, yeah, that looks like a nice little comfy room. Yeah. Right. The old mattresses, look what they had in there. Mattresses full of straw. That is old school. Wow. I wonder if they had gas lights. And I wouldn't think they had electricity up here. Or running water. Floor roof sealed out well. Good old slate. And I'll look at these bits of paper and that when I get my other camera out tomorrow morning when hopefully there's better light. It smells a bit musty in this one. Oh, what a beautiful place to live. I spooked the sheep. They were going to come across into another field, but they turned me on when they saw me, a stranger. Right. Save me old battery. Okay, a little history that I found was one photograph and a family tree, which I'll include at the end of the video, and a newspaper article from 1912, which I shall read. It reads, "Some time ago a sketch was executed of Mr. Thomas Sanders. Upon the information being received that his brother, Mr. John Sanders, was also a successful farmer of this district, the resolve was made to approach him also, and after many delays of other engagements, the resolve was carried into effect. Apart from the interest of the farm, the visit was well worth making by reason of the lovely bit of country through which it was reached. Taking the right hand or upper road through the estate's park, the road is bounded by a stately line of well-grown forest trees. An inconspicuous gate in the wall admits to the cart road leading to the farm. This gate, well hung and with easy working latch, gives promise of a good order to be expected at the farm. Gates being an excellent criterion of the capability of the farmer. If hanging out of true balance, with broken bars and awkward latches, it would appear that they argue lack of energy rather than lack of riches. For these repairs are not really beyond the scope of a capable amateur. It is, however, noted that in this district many farmers and their sons are not only amateur joiners, but even very fair builders and mechanics. Though the farm stands high, it is somewhat sheltered by the rising ground above, and by the imposing shade of the well-grown symmetrical sycamores. If one takes, as is usual among our agriculturists, the timber as a test of the goodness of the soil, this neighbourhood is fortunate. Mr. John Sanders has now for 23 years farmed the 97 acres. A kindly welcome is given by Mrs. Sanders, who, silver-haired and still bonny, must have been more than somewhat of a beauty in her youth. The winters of Derbyshire have dealt kindly with her, in spite of the fact that she is a native of a more southern county, being proud to claim Stratford-upon-Avon as her birthplace. Surrounding the house is a delightfully wild little garden, every inch of which, on our visit, was crowded with an infinite variety of flowering plants, chiefly reminiscences of visits. Mrs. Sanders is evidently a fortunate gardener, for all the specimens have struck root and flourish exceedingly. Entering the house under the porch, great comfort is to be found in a small space, the thick walls affording the protection necessary on these Derbyshire moors when the furies of the winter wind are let loose, and windows rattle and boughs strain and moan in the fierce blasts. All is very compact, a cosy little kitchen, a sitting room of very fair size, and a dainty little pantry, which Mrs. Sanders declares to be too small. It certainly, though arranged with the utmost neatness, appears somewhat crowded with good cheer. The sale of milk forms perhaps the principal, though not the sole business of the farm, the purchaser having been for many years a Mrs. Sheldon. Churns made by Mrs. Marsden and Sons are used, and the milk is sent every day to the train station, and when there is a small surplus, Mrs. Sanders makes a little butter for home consumption and for a few favoured customers. Not far from the house is the milk cooling shed, although a compact little place, and fitted by Mr. Sanders with a Watson's cooler, which, though occupying small space, offers a large cooling surface. Mr. Sanders keeps a good herd of dairy shorthorns, giving his preference to red cows. He declares that he has never in his life had any luck with a black animal, though animals of this colour thrive apparently on many farms in the district, and certainly add a picturesque touch to the landscape. The farm, lying on the gritstone, renders it suited to Shropshire sheep, which thrive here amazingly. Mr. Sanders considers this breed the most satisfactory for both quantity and quality of mutton. With his pigs too, Mr. Sanders is extremely fortunate, having over 20 healthy promising juveniles at various stages of growth. Although the pig is considered a profitable animal, he is not the source of so large a revenues to the breeder as might be supposed, for at least 50% of the profits fall into the hands of the middleman. Every housewife knows that good bacon cannot be purchased under 10 pennies, and even more per pound, but the farmer is fortunate if he receives half of that sum. Cooperation among farmers has been suggested, but does not appear to gain wide favour. Would it not be possible for some modified system to be introduced whereby 2 or 3 farmers of a district should contract to supply one or more of the larger local shops direct at a fixed price? The present extensive sale of milk on these lines appears to work to the satisfaction of both sides. A visit to the stable finds at home Fan, an iron-grey 3-year-old filly, who in spite of her youth has already done good work. In the next stall is Bonnie, an aged strawberry roan, and beyond is Dick, a handsome chestnut whose daily work is to take the milk quickly to the train station. During Mr. Sanders' ownership of him, Dick has never made a mistake, which is a good deal to say when it is a question of these hills and the difficult Derbyshire roads, where even the best horse may on occasion be devotionally inclined. A very important department on this farm is the poultry, the charge of Mr. Sanders' 2 daughters, his only children. Turkeys do well. Aylesbury ducks, too, are reared, with a large number of fowls of various kinds. Mr. Sanders is very fairly satisfied with last year's harvest. The house and buildings, in fact, nearly hidden from view, on one side by several large well-thatched stacks. The hay crop has been very good, and the oats, of which he grows some 14 acres, well ripened and well got, though rather lighter than those of his neighbours who farm on the limestone, favoured by a dry summer. The same remarks apply to wheat, of which Mr. Sanders grows several acres. One very important animal must not be forgotten, Bob, an old English sheepdog, which does duty as a watchdog outside the gate. The zeal with which Bob performs his duties knows no bounds. He fairly whirls at the end of his chain, barking vociferously the while at every fresh comer, and yet off the chain Bob is one of the mildest animals in existence. I'm on my way to the train station to go home. It snows and I've still got a couple of miles to walk in it. But it's not settling, so it won't be any more picturesque than it is, as far as I can see anyway. Thanks for watching everyone. Next time.